items you will need for this great quesadilla are a nice skillet, butter, albacore, cream cheese, cheddar cheese, your choice of spinach, broccoli, kale, whatever green veggie you want to use. I am personally using kale. I'm also using a mix of peppers and onions and 3 large eggs. You will also need a food processor or a blender. I am just using my very small food processor, and I will tell you what I will put in here. So I've placed my 3 eggs, about an ounce of cream cheese, about a ½ cup of kale, and for some extra seasoning, I am using this ranch dip seasoning mix. It's dry. I am not adding sour cream to this because this is enough. I'm just adding it for a little added flavor. And this is going to blend well. In the meantime, I am sauteing my peppers that I will use in a little extra virgin olive oil. I've now spun, chopped, purified my liquid, as well as I added my albacore to the sauteing peppers, onions mix. This is what the foundation of my quesadilla will look like. And I'm just going to whip it a little bit more until it's a little more light and fluffy. That is going to be very, very good. I've sauteed my albacore with the peppers and onions, and I'm just going to set that aside and just allow it to cool. Well, not really cool, but just let it simmer in itself to get the full taste in. Again, that's in olive oil. I didn't add any extra seasonings to this thing. Meanwhile, I've added my butter to the skillet. Just let it get the heat to it. And I poured some of the butter off because I'll need some of that. And now that the skillet is warm, I am going to put our solution into the mix. I'm going to give it one more stir. I tell you, this mix has a really nice flavor to it. What I did was I poured the mix into the skillet on like a medium heat, and it's going to make almost like a keto pancake, if you're familiar with that. This recipe was inspired by a keto meal that I saw that actually turned the egg, the cream cheese, and the butter mix into this thing. Of course, I added my own, adding the kale again, and the ranch dip for the flavoring, because this is going to make now into a nice bread-like meal for the quesadilla. And I use this top here just to ensure that I'm making like a nice round, perfect topping for my quesadilla. And I just let it cook under there because I want it nice and round. It's doing well. Actually, it's baking up rather nicely. I get my spatula and I test the size of that thing. It's moving nicely. And a little bit more and just let it go. It's going to bake up really nice, like a nice bread. Oh, it's turning out nicely. You can see the kale bursting through there. I've now flipped over. I've now flipped over the top of the quesadilla so that the bottom could cook. This is a very nice, some people would call it a keto pancake. But again, it's no bread, it's no flour, it's nothing like that. It's all the egg, the kale, and the cream cheese. Very nice bread-like style, and it bakes up very nicely. I'm just going to cover it and let it go. Here is one of the top parts of the quesadilla. Oh, it is looking nice. And the second one is in the oven, is on the oven cooking. Oh, look at that nice kale coming up there. It's beautiful. Cooking up very nicely. This is cooking rather nicely. It's baking up very, very nice on the skillet. And it is almost ready for turning over. Very nicely done. Perfect turnover. And it's beautiful. It is actually beautiful. Now while this is hot and while the other side is cooking, I will place my skillet albacore with the peppers and onions on top of that. Quesadilla is turning out nicely. I've placed that. The albacore and peppers on top. And then I added the cheese. I've now added the top layer of the quesadilla. One more time for flipping. And I've now done the flip over, and it's getting nice and hot in the skillet for the other side, and all that cheese is melting. And voila, perfect quesadillas. We have a perfect quesadilla. And at your choice, you may put a little sour cream or a little fresh salsa. As for me, I added a little sour cream and some roasted red peppers that I just warmed over the skillet as well. And this is a perfect, nice eat. And it's really packed full of proteins and veggies. That's all this is. There is no bread. This is not bread. It's egg and cream cheese. So you get your good fat and kale. You see the greens coming out of there. So this is a perfect meal. No flour in this thing at all. Yet it made a perfect quesadilla for eating. This is your Hit It and Get It. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. What a lovely meal. Enjoy, guys. And let me know if you tried this recipe and if you actually liked it. Let me know what you substituted maybe for your vegetables. And let me know what insides you used as far as your protein. All right? One love. Talk to you guys later. Peace.